All right, I'm on hole number 9 of the 2019 Fall Major. I'm in Wednesday's qualifying round in the rookie division. All right, here's the deal on hole number 9. I know this shot out here, excuse me if I can get my pen to work, this shot going out here, I'm bringing, you could bring an extra mile and really a 7 or an 8 depending on the wind, you can bring a Titan. So even if you have like a 2.5 or 2.3 mile an hour wind, when you stretch it out in your max overpower, you're right on that, and your yellow ring is on the other side. So you can come at this. The problem is if you got a level 6 or below extra mile, your curl is bad. So with my maxed out extra mile, I'm coming in this direction, and with max curl on there, the ball is going to go like this and end up in between these two shadows, actually pretty close to the shadow up here, more towards the front than towards this shadow. If you got a lower developed extra mile, this is a pretty narrow window. And the deal is that, let me get closer to it here. The deal is that, you're trying to cover this gap on the rollout. So if you got your ball going in this direction with a level 7, you can easily, your landing spots here, you can cover this distance with the curl that a level 7, level 8 extra mile has. But with a level 6, you don't have that much curl. So you're going to have to line up more when you're coming in so that you're on this trajectory and then trying to cover this gap. The problem is that if you look at the arc of this fairway here, the farther you get to the right, the longer you have to get before you get into the fairway. And so it kind of compounds the problem. You don't have enough curl to swing it over, so you've got to move it to the right in order to get the shot to go, but you've just made your shot a little bit longer. And it doesn't look like it's that much longer going from, this narrow area here to over here, but that distance right there, if you've got a low wind, can be the difference between making the fairway and not making the fairway. So if you got lower developed stuff, this shot is a little bit more difficult. And what you can do is come out here with like a big topper and bounce from this side and come over, and you're going to end up in this area. So this shot over here is actually, I don't have any really big worries with this. One of my teammates several of my teammates are doing the shot from down here, coming up with a sniper. And what's happening with the sniper here is if you can get down into that hole, you're having to put topspin on, and as you put the topspin on and it engages this hill, your tail is going to be coming down, and you can aim that tail. If you've got a club with lots of ball guide, you can aim that tail right at the cup. And if you make a great wind adjustment and hit it perfect, you got a serious look at Albie here. From the other side, you can't really use, if you're coming in from this direction, you can't use this. So you really got to go straight at the cup. And I found that this is a very difficult hole to get an Albie on, but possibly from this side it might be easier. Even though this first shot is a tough shot, and the second shot you got to have the right stuff for it. I'm going to try the lower shot. And the key here is not overdriving it. It's going to be, if you end up in the rough out here, you could be in big trouble. So the key is not to overdrive that and end up out here in that shadow in the middle. So I'm going to take my accurate bag. I'm going to take my number 3 accurate bag, which is a rock, and I'm going to switch that up for a sniper. And I'm going to take a Kingmaker because I really want to cut the wind down. We're taking the wind out on both shots. We're doing a 10% wind adjustment to the cup. And I'm going to take a Kingmaker just to help make that a little easier. Let's open up that pin chest. Get the ball rolling. I want to be close up on this lower fairway area, but I don't want to be so close that I take any risks of getting in the rough. So I'm not sure. I've only taken the shot one time this week as far as backspin, and there's not a super great area out there for a mark, like put it in that spot, put on 4 backspin, and you'll never end up in the rough. I haven't figured out where that spot is yet. Right before this tournament, Playdemic buffed several clubs, made some changes to several clubs. All of us that have been playing for a long, long time, we actually got a new club in our bag called the Grizzly. It was there before, but it was just taking up space. It had so much dust on it that it took Playdemic about 6 weeks to clean all the dust off of it. And they totally revamped that club, and that club is now, I mean, you're going to once people get their Grizzly up to 6, especially level 7, where it gets its 100% accuracy, you're not going to see backbones pulled out of bags very often. That area right there is about where I normally end up on that shot. And I'll tell you, you can do this with a lower ball, but it's the second shot coming in. You want to give yourself, on these types of par 5s, I'm a fan of bringing a bigger ball. I'm going to get up into this area. My blue ring's wedged up. I want to be right in the middle of the fairway. Take the wind out, 2.5 rings. I'm going to put a little teeny bit of left-hand curl on it. Hit it to the left, about 1 ring great. Now the deal was I left myself a lot of room there, and the first time I hit it, I was, in game measurements, I was probably about 2 yards away from that rough. For me, that's a little too close, but I did like the shot that I had from there. But the question is could I be a little bit farther back from that, where I could make that shot a little bit safer and still be able to achieve the goal on the next shot? And I think from the spot that I was at before, I used about 2 topspin, so I had plenty of topspin available to me. Right, let's get down into this area. The one thing about this side right here, okay, so is the wind's going with us. 2.9, we're going to add on 10%, so that's going to be 2.3, or excuse me, 3.3. So there's 3. You'd hit it perfect. Hitting it perfect. Give myself a look. Let's see if we can get that sucker in the hole. Woo! That's what I'm talking about right there. Picking up the Albie. That's going to give me a great tiebreaker right there. And that sets us up. We got the minus 14, so I tanked the shot on 1. Didn't hit it perfect. Tanked the shot on 5. I hit the shot coming out of the sand perfect, and I went through the hole, but I messed up the drive. And those are 2 holes that we really need to focus on trying to get an eagle. So I've got 8 dialed in, and just trying to pick up that 1 extra shot. That's the one. There's things about that shot that I don't like, but I will tell you that the thing about that shot right there, and is that the way that the wind's blowing in this direction. So when we're out here taking the shot, we're taking a shot against the side wind, and that we're already in wood trying to get out into this area, and we have to do a wind adjustment, and we're doing that wind adjustment against the side wind. And so it's very easy to end up always off the hole. Whereas when we're out here, doing the shot coming in, the wind's going with us. So even if we make a slightly wrong wind adjustment, the wind was going with us. If we didn't take out quite enough wind, it'll roll up on the hill, and it's going to roll back in pretty much the same spot. If we take out a little bit too much wind, it's going to roll up the hill not quite as far, and then it's going to roll back to the same spot. So with the wind blowing like it is, this shot out here does give you, I will admit, it does give you a better shot. It's not the typical type of way I like to come at these holes, but I do think that my teammate's right that this is the way to come at this hole if we're going to give ourselves the best look at Albie. So I will probably switch this up in all of my accounts, except I'll have to look at my low level account and see what I've got for clubs in there. You can get down here with a QB pretty easily, but I'll have to look at my second shot. I don't have a hammerhead and I don't have a sniper. And what you really want on this shot coming into the cup is you want a club that's got tons of ball guide, so that when you get up on that hill, that tail for that ball guide will go right back towards the hole, and you're looking at it. It's going right into the hole. All right, that was hole number 9 of the 2019 Fall Major, Wednesday's qualifying round. Coming in with a minus 14. So my goal coming in was your minimum score is minus 12 on this. In Eagle Peak, your minimum score is minus 12. That's what you need. All great rounds are going to start with a minus 12. And what I mean by the minus 12 is not coming in and this person shot the right score. They got birdies on everything and eagles on the par 5s. That's a perfect round. That's a perfectly clean round. And so every great round is going to start with this round, because if you can shoot this with your eyes closed, then when you go to hole number 1, you put yourself in the right spot, you gave yourself an eagle shot. These par 3s are, this par 3 here, they're pretty difficult, but you gave yourself a shot. Hole number 3, you're looking to give yourself an Albie shot. Hole number 4, another par 3. Hole number 5, another par 4. So every one of these holes, you can give yourself an opportunity to raise this score up. But if you tank hole number 1 and then you make hole number 8, you pick up your eagle and you end up with the 12, you got to work on hole number 1. You got to shoot this round right here, just exactly like this round looks. And this round will set you up for better rounds. And so if you come into the opening round with a 13, you were able to pick 1 up in the qualifier. Tiebreaker wise, you can look at the brackets and how your brackets were. I would say in this bracket, we're probably going to be minus 11 will probably be the minimum that there's going to be a couple people with minus 11 that'll make the round. So if you can shoot a minus 13, you're going to be above 50, 60% of the people in your bracket. You could come into the weekend round in like maybe the top 20, top 30 in tiebreakers, maybe higher. And you shoot that round again, you shoot the minimum score again, and let's say you just pick up 1 going into the opener, going into the weekend round, that's going to be huge. And you want to be as high up as possible in your tiebreaker. So I can guarantee you, the way that I find that out is when the tournament starts at midnight. So I'm on West Coast time in the United States. When it starts at midnight, I'm going to log in and immediately get into a bracket. And the bracket will fill up instantaneously. And you will be able to go in there and look and go, okay, hey, you'll see it. If you go into your weekend bracket and I don't even open up chess, I want to get into that bracket as fast as I can before anybody starts to play. And you go in there and it shows you in 34th. That means you're the 34th person in that bracket in tiebreakers. That means that there's 33 people that can beat you in tiebreakers. The better that number is, you can be in the top 15. The higher up you are, the better, because in this tournament, we're going to find the minus 24s in the weekend round or the minus 26s in the weekend round. There's going to be a huge group of people in those. And you don't want to be in the minus 26. And let's say minus 26 went from 10th to 30th. You don't want to be the 30th place player with a 26. You want to be the 10th place player with that 26. And tiebreakers in a tournament like this, because it's going to be super tight in the weekend round. Tiebreakers are going to break people's hearts this weekend, because you're going to find people, shooting a 29 or a 30 and ended up in 4th because they didn't have tiebreakers and the people above them beat them. And so starting off with good tiebreakers is going to be key. So coming in with a 14 and an Albie, that's going to be awesome for tiebreakers. And in the opening round, if I can back that up in the opening round, that's just going to be awesome going into the weekend round. My goal is to shoot a minimum of 28 because I believe that we need to pick up 2 on every side. And hole number 8 is very pick upable. You can get an eagle on hole number 8 pretty easily. So that leaves you, your best opportunities are going to be 1 and 5. And I actually think 5's got a better shot than 1 because you can get on 5. And so if you can pick up 2 per side, you're looking at a 28. You go in with a -14, -28 into the weekend round, you're going to be high up in tiebreakers. And the higher up you can get, the better. So my goal is to always shoot the minimum score, but in this particular tournament, you need to maintain that minimum score. So there's nothing wrong with that. But if you can just pick up 1 shot in each one of these rounds to separate yourself, it'll be huge for your end real estate in the weekend round. All right, that was the qualifying round for the 2019 Fall Major. Thanks for watching.